Well, hello there. No, this isn't the show at all. What this is a call to action. A call to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, by the way, please, if you can, head over to Apple, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you are listening to this awesome show. Click on that 5-star rating. Tell everyone in your orbit about it. Do whatever you have to do to make them listen and continue to listen to the show. All within reason, of course. Together, we can grow this show into something amazing. Thank you all for what you do out there. Now back to the fun. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the show. It's episode 200. We've made it this far, kids. I hope you've all enjoyed the journey. I hope you've all gotten to where you need to go in life, and I hope I've helped you along the way and all that sentimental shit. We're going to open the show like this. Ready? I think I'm going to how do I say? I'm going to give you some cliches, and maybe you know the influencer. All right, here's the first one. We've got a lot to get to. Glad to be with you all. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we have to parse through them all. So that way I can let you know what is and what isn't. Like these motherfuckers are. I'm sorry. There's a fire hose of news out there. It's just all over the place. Oh, fuck. I don't know if I can keep that going. I don't know. I got to get a catchphrase because these guys got some shit and people are listening to them. So I don't know. Maybe, let me think. Let me think. Ooh. I got one. I fucking got one. Are you ready, kids? Are you ready? Happy day. Are you? No, that one sucks. That one sucks really fucking bad. All right, so if you don't know those catchphrases, that is Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Matt Walsh, and David Pakman. Wow, even David Pakman that is a slip. There's more out there. There's a whole lot of them, but those are my favorites. Glad to be with you. Like, this is Crowder. Glad to be with you. We've got a lot to get to today, and what we're going to go and do today is we're going to get through a whole bunch of bullshit, and we're going to give you a bunch of half-truths and full truths and lies and things, and because there's a lot of misinformation out there, we're going to parse on through it. That way we can get you the most accurate information because we are 6-0 when it comes to releasing news, because we want to be accurate, because we want to have the most amazing undercover agency ever. Never mind the part where I'm getting sued by some guy because I didn't report the news properly, and I was my deposition is on YouTube. You know, never mind that. No. But I'm 6-0 as far as I'm concerned. Now, obviously, I'm not an impressionist. I can't do the fucking voices, so fuck off. Here's... All right. Are you ready for a little bit of Shapiro? I know you are. There's a fire hose of news out there. There's a lot to get through. Yeah, like the fucking news is just pouring out of the old dam for Benny. Because there's so much, he's going to report on the same 3 or 4 topics. Israel, the Trump administration, and possibly Jeffrey Epstein. Or we're going to beat that transgender horse to death. Not sure, not 100% sure. Oh, fuck. Anyway, guys. Anyway. I can go on and fucking on, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do for episode 200 is I am going to get into whatever the fuck it is that I'm going to get into. And some of it is Jeffrey Epstein. Some of it is our border czar, Tom Homan, and little Gavin Newsom, and maybe the French, because they're retarded and they need help. All right, let's do this. Oh, let's do the Epstein first. This is an exchange that I got off of TikTok, so it's cut into 3 videos because this guy needs to get as many views as possible. He can't just run one 10-minute segment. It's got to be 3 parts. So we're going to do parts 1, 2, possibly 3. This is an exchange in Congress at one of their committee meetings or hearings. And Congressman Dan Goldman and Jasmine Crockett and one of the longest running retards ever to fucking grace the floor of Congress, Hank Johnson, the man who said that there's so much weight that an island could flip over. Yes, that man is still there, still getting elected, and God willing, he'll say something funny or blow your fucking mind. Something, okay? But this was interesting to me because a Republican congressman asked a question on the floor of Congress to a bunch of Democrats. And it's a question that has been asked over and over and over again. But this is directly to the particular individuals in Congress, Goldman and Crockett, who have been beating this horse to death, doing everything they fucking can to try to get this shit like up front and center and get as much airtime as they possibly can. So he asked a question. Let's do it.
The relief that our children need is interdependent.
All right, first off, that's Hank Johnson.
As well. And so I'm going to, and I'm not going to sit by while folks continue to cast aspersions on the motivations of the ranking member for leading this effort. And with that, I will yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
Mr. Speaker, or Mr. Chairman, I've already given you a title.
Yes. Gentleman from Texas, recognized.
Yeah, but my colleague from Georgia, you sat back for 4 years when Joe Biden was president. I'm curious, and I really do mean this, because the ranking member, you read the letter that you were raising hell back when you were in your position. Will someone, and I will yield to you, will someone answer for me why Joe, let me ask the question first.
All right, so that's part 1. This is, again, I don't know why this fucking weird TikTok guy couldn't just make this all one video. But that's part 1. And essentially what Hank Johnson does here is he makes an attempt to attack the Republicans in the Epstein issue. Of course, he obviously doesn't land the plane. He crashes it because, like I said, he believes that if you put enough people on an island, it will tip over because of the weight on one side. So, yeah, that prompted a representative from Texas, Mr. Gooden here, to ask the obvious question. And, of course, this is part 1, so we're not going to get that until we get to the second part because this guy really fucking needs to make this a 3-parter. And I could see why, because he's gotten thousands of views.
If you don't answer the question, because I want the question answered.
I will happily answer.
Why did Joe Biden not release these files, and why did none of you come out and call for the release of these files when Joe Biden was president? Why did you wait until it became a political issue?
Very, very important question. that every single Republican has been asking, whether or not they're in a political position or not. They're going, hey, guys, the Biden DOJ, and even as far back as the Bush DOJ, and even the Obama DOJ, they all know the case inside and out. Who the interviews were with Maxwell, Epstein himself, and witnesses. They all seen these documents at some point. And during appeals and trials and stuff, that a lot of these documents have been redacted and or sealed. But we all know, for the most part, everybody knows what this case is about and who's in it and who the players are. So the question is simple. If we were going, because Donald Trump brought it up in his first term about the Epstein files, but then when he found out that the courts were tying it up, he couldn't do it. And he even said as much in his first term. Now, in the second Biden gets into office, nobody gives a shit about these Epstein files. Nobody fucking wants to talk about it. Nobody's asking for it. No Republican or Democrat, for that matter, are beating the drum. Release the files, release the files, release the files. The second that the Donald Trump photographs were leaked, the second that this weird fucking goofy letter got put out, the second that this leaked video of Epstein talking about Trump and being friends with him, all of a sudden, every Democrat wanted to know where these files were and whether or not they were going to be released. Donald Trump, to his credit, released what he could. And they were all flight logs and weird shit, things we already kind of knew from earlier. And we got a little more redacted versions the second time around. And, of course, I know Pam Bondi kind of fucked it all up with the binders and shit. But overall, we know pretty much what's going on, right? And the Democrats are losing their mind. Release the files, release the files. He's a pedophile, all this shit. All these accusations, all this defamatory language, all this shit being hurled at the president. Every left-wing psycho nut that has a fucking social media account on YouTube, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, all the fucking way down the line, are calling him a pedophile, a child rapist, all this shit, right? But if they knew that he was in the files, because the Biden DOJ had the access, they would have released it, right? You would think that they would do anything they possibly can to bury Trump in an election year. And what a way to do it. To release the files and the photos and the audio and all that shit. But they didn't. Why? Because there's nothing damning in those files. There ain't shit in them. Everybody knows this at this point. That's why there was a lot of hubbub about Dan Bongino and about Kash Patel and what they did when they were not an official in the White House. They were talking about, oh, it's a conspiracy. The files are there. This guy knows, that guy knows. They're all lying. But then once they got in and they looked at it, like actually with their eyeballs, they were like, fuck, dude, there's nothing here. Why the fuck are we even talking about this shit? There ain't nothing going on. There you go, right? So this guy here is asking an obvious question. And I want you to listen to the answers of our Democratic knuckleheads.
Motivations are so pure. Mr. Goldman, yes, I'll yield to you.
So, first of all, the reason why this has become such a big issue.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was, why did you all not push the Biden admin to release the files?
Right.
Why did not one of you say Joe Biden's Justice Department should release these files, and if he doesn't, damn it, I'm going to get a discharge petition?
So
why didn't anyone do that?
I'm trying to answer that. We were not aware, I think it's safe to say, that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files.
No, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. Everyone in this room knew about Epstein. It was a huge national story. I'm asking you, why did Joe Biden not release the Epstein files? It's irrelevant who may or may not have been in them. Why didn't you care about these victims? Irrespective of the fact that your political opponent could or could not be attached to these files, why weren't you guys calling out the Joe Biden administration to release the files? Please, someone answer.
I'm trying to answer.
Well, you didn't. I'll let Ms. Crockett try.
So Goldman took a swing and missed. Right away, he goes, well, at the time, we didn't know Trump was in them. That's not the fucking point, dude. That's not even the answer. That's not even what this is about. What this is about is before we even knew who was in the files, Donald Trump was saying, hey, we should probably release these things and find out what's going on. That was in his first term. Biden's in the office, and he doesn't give a shit about it. Trump comes back, and now you're saying, well, we didn't know he was in it. Now that we know that he's sort of kind of in it, we want to know more. And it's like, but why didn't you care about the victims? Why didn't you care about who was doing what to who to where to woo, right? Why didn't you care? Why didn't you go to Maxwell and try to figure it out? She's the last surviving member. Why? Well, and his answer is, we didn't know that he was in it, right? And what Crockett says here is baffling bullshit to me. Because she is the one that talks a lot of shit about how smart she is and about how dumb everybody else is and about how the white man is keeping her down and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this guy asked her a very simple question. Why? Same as the other guy, right? Her answer is hilarious.
And I feel comfortable, and you call me Lance. So, Jasmine,
we are not
go for
friends.
it. Oh, we are.
Do not ruin don't ruin my street cred. No, here's the thing. I will tell you that at the end of the day, for me, as a lawyer, when you have that Maxwell went through her trial is when Joe Biden was in power. After that, she ended up on appeal, which she is currently on appeal now. So as it relates to whether or not that Department of Justice had even concluded their investigation, I can't say that they had, number one. Number two, by releasing the files prior to her going through her appellate process, that may have ended up being an issue that administration was concerned about. That's number one. Number two.
She's in appeal now. So
okay,
using that line, you're going to pull that back?
I'm about to get to it because I saw y'all.
You know what?
No,
I'm going to reclaim my time. Since you said we weren't friends, I'm going to reclaim my time.
You see what she did there? She was saying, this fucking retard was like, oh, but they were in an appeal, and Joe Biden didn't, and the DOJ and all that, they didn't want to like get involved because they didn't know how the appeals were. She's in appeal right now under Trump administration. She's already in another appeals process, and you're still crying for the files. This is how you know these guys don't care. This is how you know these guys are all about scoring bullshit, fucking political points. And this is just the same retarded shit over and over and over and over again. It really is annoying. So in the Senate, there was this Epstein amendment that was voted down, mainly party line Republicans all across the board because they have the majority, knocked this shit out. This was attached to a defense authorization bill. Now, this is the shit that pisses people off. And this is what Democrats do all the time. And they do it more than any Republican administration. If you want to fact check me, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't like this at all. Anytime there's a bill, they want to write an amendment and attach bullshit to the bill. This is a defense authorization bill. This is not an Epstein bill. So the Republicans got rid of it. They said this is nothing to do with defense. But this is Chuck Schumer. This is his way to sort of try to get his name attached to the Epstein files and release of the files and blah, blah, bullshit, blah. And they called it a political stunt and trying to tie this to a different set of legislation. Some of this is just absolute nonsense because the House discharge petition failed, obviously, because Republicans aren't going to play this bullshit game. And what I just played for you is an absolute example as to why. They don't give a fuck. And, of course, Chuck Schumer criticizes the Republicans for blocking transparency. This fucking Schumer, during the Biden administration, was the Senate majority leader. He could have pushed this. He had party line all the way. He had it all. He could have done it. He literally could have done it. He chose not to. Why? Because Epstein doesn't matter. Who Epstein was doing on that island, whoever Maxwell brought to Epstein, whoever was on the flight logs, wherever he was getting his money, didn't matter to Chuck Schumer 2 years ago. Now it matters because he might get a vote because he's going to get primaried by AOC if she chooses not to run for the presidency, and he knows he's going to get his fucking ass handed to him. So he's doing whatever the fuck he can to keep his boat afloat. So this is what politicians do. John Thune says that they had already released tons of files, and they are trying to protect the victims in the other stuff through the appeals process and what have you. So they don't want to do something that's going to get them in trouble in that case with Maxwell anyway. But again, Democrats don't give a fuck. They just don't care. They just don't care. And they're going to do whatever the fuck they can to try to look like they're doing something. And of course, when they get the majority, I guarantee you the Epstein files are going to get buried because they don't give a fuck about it. They don't care about it that much. And this is proof of it. That damn exchange between Goodman from the Texas Republican Congressman Goodman to a Democratic Congressman Crockett to Democratic Congressman Goodman to Hank Johnson saying whatever the fuck Hank Johnson says is proof that they don't give a fuck. They literally do not care. And that's just the way this shit goes. Now, here's something that I caught wind of that I thought was interesting, and it's worth a read at best. All right, border czar Tom Homan pulled up a bunch of articles on this shit too, man. I was just like tripping. I was like, this dude really did that shit. Basically, he is the subject of a bribery investigation by the FBI and the Department of Justice. In September of 2024, undercover FBI agents recorded him accepting a $50,000 cash payment delivered in a bag from the fast casual chain, Cava, some kind of fast food joint, I don't know, in exchange for promises to help secure government contracts for border security companies if Donald Trump won the election. However, the investigation was later closed by the Trump administration. Officials stated they found no credible evidence of any wrongdoing because they couldn't tie the money. That's the claim they're making. Me personally, I think they're full of shit. Democratic lawmakers expressed concern that the case was prematurely shut down for political reasons. Of course, Tom denies the $50,000. What money? I didn't get shit. What are you talking about? And he called it all bullshit. The White House has stood firm by him, labeling the probe as politically motivated and asserted that he didn't do anything wrong. Once again, guys, I think he took the money. I think he's full of bananas. I don't believe a word of what the fuck he just said. I just don't. I think he's full of shit. I think he fucking took the money. And I think he actually followed through on his stuff. So that's I'm going to post a lot of these articles in the show notes. You guys go ahead and read that for yourselves. I found that to be quite interesting. On to the BBC. So, France is being France. Don't know why they're doing this. I do not understand the point of this. I'm not a geopolitical nut, but I can tell you just by reading this article and just by kind of looking at the notes that this shit made no sense. Like France historically is like last picked on the basketball team. Like Canada gets picked before them, basically. Like they are the last picked player on the basketball team. The last person drafted in the sports league. They are the last franchise granted. Like, they literally will not participate in anything that makes sense. They will always do shit that you go, why? Like, why the fuck did you do that? Why would you do that? What's the point of this? What is going on, right? And that is France in a nutshell. So, they officially recognized Palestine as a state. Joining a growing list of countries pushing for the two-state solution. So the theory is if we recognize them as a state, even though they don't really have a state to recognize, they have a strip in Gaza that is technically, I guess, from what I understand, not theirs. It still sort of belongs to Israel, even though Israel hasn't officially handed it over, winky winky. That's what I'm getting out of what I was reading. So, again, guys, if I'm wrong, correct me. I would love to know more. I love learning. As from what I can gather out of this state doesn't necessarily exist. So it's hard to recognize a state when a state isn't there. That's kind of what I got out of this. So Emmanuel Macron at the UN said, the time for peace has come. France and Saudi Arabia co-hosted a one-day summit at the UN General Assembly focused on advancing the two-state solution. Macron announced that Belgium, Luxembourg, Malta, San Marino, and Andorra are also doing this. UK, Canada, Australia, and Portugal have also sort of made the similar announcements. Germany, Italy, and the U.S. refused to attend said summit. Israel condemned the recognition, arguing it rewards Hamas for its attack on October 7th. Israel cited concerns that recognition undermines accountability for terrorism. Obviously, Israel kind of has a point, but this has been a conversation that has gone on a lot longer than October 7th. So this is, as I'm viewing it, it's a separate issue entirely. But Gaza's health ministry, which is operated by Hamas, because Hamas has some power in the area. They do control Gaza a little bit. They have 65,000 Palestinians have been killed since the attacks from Israel. That's their claim. Obviously, I've never seen the... Obviously, people have not seen the health ministry's numbers. They just kind of say it, and that's historically been their thing. Most of the time, it's inaccurate as fuck. A lot of it is bullshit. They just do it to gain favor in the political arena, you know, mostly from the bleeding hearts that are out there. Personally, I don't believe anything Hamas says. I mean, when you look at this entire war, this entire conflict, if you will, they've had many opportunities to just kind of end it, and they chose not to. They chose to continue. They chose to keep the bodies of the dead. They've chose to starve those that are still alive. I mean, they've chosen to do things. They've chosen to hide in populated areas. They've allowed... just think of it this way. If Hamas was controlling Gaza, and Gaza was an actual country, this would be a disgrace of a government. How do you allow your entire country to get bombed into the next into the Stone Age of Stone Ages? How do you allow your network of tunnels to be blown out and caved in? How do you allow 65,000 civilians to die? How do you allow that as a government and be like, we're still fighting this, we're good? I mean, that's a disgrace of disgraces. That is absolute nonsense. And they don't deserve to stay in power. They don't deserve to run shit. I wouldn't let them run a fucking hot dog stand. The way they've handled this, the way Hamas... When you decide that you're going to pick a fight with someone with a giant gun, and you only have a bat, and you're going to get your ass kicked, okay? Not only do you jump the rail and you kill 1,200, you take 250 with you. At some point, the bigger dog in the yard is going to beat the shit out of you. And that's what's happening. They want their stuff back. And they don't want you running shit in Gaza. They don't want you anywhere. Because you have proven that you can't do your fucking job. I mean, when Israel is providing you water because you can't seem to get your fucking pipes done, you can't get the plumber out there. That's really crazy to me. When you claim that you can't feed everybody because you're stealing all the food for yourself, that's crazy to me. Again, I wouldn't let these guys run a hot dog stand, let alone a fucking country. And for everybody to continue to recognize these guys as something of importance is also crazy. It's fucking retarded. And I don't know if this is a game that they're playing to try to get everybody to the table, but I wouldn't do this. I would be like, you know what? We'll protect our interests, obviously, in the area, because that's what we're going to do. But Israel, you got a month to finish this. If you don't, then we're going to have to slap the shit out of you. Whether it be economic sanctions, polling, whatever it is. Not an actual war, not bullets, but not shooting guns. We're talking less trade, less this, less that, doing stuff like that to pressure them to finish it. And if Israel is really going to take Gaza back and be like, we're going to control this with our own police force, blah, 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 fine. But you need to have something happening. Because right now, the longer this goes, the worse this looks for Israel. And the more you're going to get shit like this, like dumbass France going, they actually are a state. It's like, no, dude, calm your nerves. This is let's again. I want to stress this. This is not my forte. This is just me reading and having an initial reaction to this entire situation. Obviously, I'm going to have to read a little bit more to kind of get a better breakdown of what is happening here with France and Saudi Arabia and excuse me, Belgium and these guys trying to push the two-state thing. Maybe that's what they think is their path to peace. Maybe. I have no idea. But again, guys, all of you geopolitical nuts out there, all you psychos out there that are into this shit, like you take a shower with it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to get a little bit more on this. All right, guys. Let's talk California because why not? Because it's Gavin Newsom. What else are we going to do? This is from the Miami Herald. They're reporting on this because it has to do with gerrymandering and redistricting and all that good shit. So, Proposition 50, for those who are not aware, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be aware, but Proposition 50 in California is a redistricting proposal that allows them to remove about 5 Republican districts, and it's a way of counteracting what Texas is trying to do. And they got it through their supermajority, and it's put to the voters to see if they want to do it. And November 4th, blah, blah, blah. So if you're, if you are a Democrat and you want to, stick it to them, as they say, then go ahead and vote yes. Obviously, I would vote no because there's 52 districts. You've got about 44 of them, 45 or 50. Yeah, you got about 44 of these fucking things, these districts. The Republicans got 8, 9, if that. You want to cut them down by 5. So you want to give them 3 or 4 districts out of the entire state. I mean, talk about talk about a representation issue, And I got a little thing on that in a minute. But let's get into this for a second. So the measure is facing opposition from a coalition of civic organizations and former Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Speaking at USC, Arnold accused Prop 50 of undermining California's bipartisan redistricting system, which was designed to prevent gerrymandering. He emphasizes the importance of maintaining independent redistricting to protect its democratic integrity. Civic groups aligned with Arnold argue that Prop 50 would erode public trust and politicize the redistricting process, reversing reforms that aimed to reduce partisan influence. And of course, what does Gavin Newsom say? We have to fight. We have to fight. Fight on, goddammit, fight on. We'll see what happens. But here's what I'm wondering. The Democratic Party is really big on diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? I'm going to try to land this plane. Hopefully I do. So how is the representation in California diverse? How is it equitable or inclusive? I mean, when you have 40% of the voting base is Republican, and their only representatives are 9 people out of 52 or 8 people out of 52, something like that. That's not really diverse. It's not really equitable, is it? I mean, how do we have 2 Democratic senators? We should have 1 Republican and 1 Democrat. That would be equitable, right? But it's not. Where is the fairness in what is going on in California? Where is the diversity of thought, the equitability, the inclusiveness? We don't have none of that. When you go into the legislature of California, it is a super duper duper majority. It's almost a 70% Democratic majority. That's not inclusive. That's not equitable. That's not diverse. That's a majority rule going on in California. So how is it? How is that fair? And there's a lot of arguments about the Electoral College going on out there, about how it is there's an underrepresentation, between larger states and smaller states, because Wyoming shouldn't get the same Wyoming shouldn't get the same exact say as California, who's larger, and they have more poll or votes or whatever, right? But when you dive into the states, California destroys the Republican Party. It's not even close what's happening. The legislature is a complete shit show. It is a complete it is absolutely disturbing the way it is operated. And the fact that the Democrats have controlled the legislature, especially for well over 50 or 60 years at this point, and the Republican governorship has only been, in my lifetime, just Arnold. I believe it's Arnold and the guy, Pete Wilson, I think his name is. And after that, it's just been Democrat after Democrat after Democrat. And when you look into the mayorship of some of these larger cities, it's the same thing. It's very weird to me that these guys are going to sit here and talk about how we need to have DEI in all of these aspects of life, but yet when it comes to the voting, when it comes to the legislator, when it comes to the way the system works, the Democrats, when they have the control, it's all quiet on the hilltop. But if you were to point this out to them, they would dismiss it as, well, it's just that's just the way it goes, It's like, interesting. Pot, kettle, black, hypocrite, whatever you want to call this. But that's just kind of my thing on it. That's my take. It's kind of weird that these guys preach this shit and then they don't practice it. That's basically what this is. It's kind of crazy to me that now they want to sit here and draw the maps up again. and they want to make it to where it's even more of a problem for the Republican Party to exist in the state of California. And they're going to do it with the most illegal thing. It can't be illegal. I think it's illegal, but personally, you know, if you're able to get the votes to push this through and get it on the ballot for the special election, then I guess it's all above board or whatever. But let's just think about, you know, what they're saying and what they're practicing is two completely different things. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you all for listening to me, taking the time to hear me out, go through all of whatever it is that I go through from one episode to the next. I'm really proud to have got to episode 200. I'm really proud to have technically produced roughly 400 plus episodes over the years in various forms, various podcasts, various ideas. I really am enjoying this direction. I like the reacting to news articles and doing somewhat of a deep dive into certain things. I'm going to stick to this. Obviously, I'm not going to try to venture into geopolitical type stuff because I obviously am not going to know enough, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. It's just that one really piqued my interest because, you know, France, right? What the fuck? What? Whoa, Macron, slow the hell down, buddy. You know, but overall, thank you all for downloading, listening, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Later.